The Many Characters of Doctor Who. Entry 4. Barbara Wright. Barbara Wright was a companion of the first incarnation of the Doctor. She was a human history teacher at Carole Hill School, hailing from London in the year 1963. She met the Doctor when she became curious about a student at her school named Susan Foreman, who she later found out to be the Doctor's granddaughter when she burst into the TARDIS alongside fellow teacher Ian Chesterton. Her and Ian were then kidnapped and taken on many adventures, including fighting the Daleks, solving the mystery of the Sensorites, and finding the keys of Marinus, as well as going back to Stone Age times, meeting Marco Polo, visiting the Roman era, going to revolutionary France and the Aztec Empire. Barbara would leave the TARDIS at the same time as Ian, using Dalek technology to go back to Earth 2 years after she had initially left. At some point after she left the TARDIS, she married fellow travelling companion Ian Chesterton, and in the 1970s had a son with him named John, who would grow up to be a musician by the name of Johnny Chess, who the Doctor's future companion Ace was a fan of. She was portrayed by Jaqueline Hill in the main series, Jenny Linden in the first Peter Cushing movie, where she was also the Doctor's granddaughter, and by Gemma Powell in both An Adventure in Time and Space and also in some recent audio dramas. Barbara's mother was Joan Wright, who she was very close to, following her father's death during World War II. Barbara was a Conservative supporter, as opposed to Ian Chesterton, who supported the Liberal Democrats. It is worth noting that Ian and Barbara would often be seen together before their adventures in the TARDIS, with one of their favourite hobbies being going to the cinema together. At some point during her time at Carole Hill School, Barbara became friends with another history teacher, who just happened to be the future wife of the Doctor, River Song. The Doctor and Barbara would sometimes come into conflict when Barbara's compassionate nature came to loggerheads with the Doctor's insistence that history cannot be changed. For example, when Barbara disguised herself as a god to stop the Aztecs from performing human sacrifices. Sometime after leaving the TARDIS, she and Ian were put in an illusionary world and were eventually rescued by the 11th incarnation of the Doctor, who later attended their wedding. Barbara would eventually teach at Cambridge University, specialising in Aztec history, and weirdly, according to Sarah Jane Smith, had not aged since the 1960s, something which probably explains how Ian and Barbara were able to attend Sarah Jane's funeral in the year 2020. A building at Carole Hill School that opened in 2016 was named after Barbara Wright. More than anything else, Barbara Wright was keen to believe in the innate goodness of everyone and never stopped seeing the good in people. Jaqueline Hill would return to Doctor Who as Princess Lexa in 1980.